but understanding how Hindu faith has evolved with the transition to modernity, with urbanization, of course, and with diaspora, has resulted in really interesting changes in what it means to be Hindu. Since traditional Hindu faith would have been centered around a very geographically specific and caste specific and family specific form of worship, that has now dissolved in many ways into more modern Hindu sects and more modern Hindu traditions that have we've seen the development of a systematic Hindu theology that probably would be unfamiliar to people 100 years ago, or unfamiliar to people in many rural parts of India today. So it's all subject for a book. And the biggest thing I want to take on in that book are the myths around caste, because it's clear to me as an empirical sociologist that although caste, and by here I mean Jati, is something that has been present in India for as long as we have records of, good records of it, at least since the Middle Ages and probably earlier. The connection of Jati with Hinduism, and I use the word advisedly, as an organized Hindu faith, that is in many ways a British creation in India that then Indians learned from the British. And so many Indians learned that their own faith was casteist because that's what the British told them. There's very little evidence, empirical evidence, for a connection between Hindu faith and Jati. Now, Hindu faith in Varna, certainly, but historically it's been very unclear which Jati belonged to which Varna. And in fact, if you go back to the Vedas, there's no such thing as a caste having a Varna. Individuals have a Varna. And any individual could have any Varna depending on that individual's role in society. So it's something that's really fascinating. The connection, the blatantly incorrect teaching in the West that Hinduism is a caste-based religion it's completely wrong. It needs it needs some kind of correction in the West, and it needs a correction within India, because many Indians who've been Western educated or educated in Western curricula in India have accepted that narrative, which simply is historically and empirically false.